Hello and welcome to IS Primers. Recently, a Gujarat-based pharmaceutical company, Zydus Cadila, it approached the drug regulator for emergency use authorization of its vaccine. So, emergency use authorization is key. Basically, the vaccine has seen phase 3 trials, that is, it has been tested on human beings, at least in 50 clinical centers. But the efficacy data was good. But the thing is that the company claims that it will take them 4 to 6 months in making the data available. So once the data is available, it will be peer reviewed. That is the normal procedure. So they are saying that since it is seen, yes, we do not have the data, but given the nature of India's environment coming to the possibility of the third wave also, it may be prudent to introduce this vaccine in the marketplace, as was done in the case of Covaxin. So Covaxin is also yet to release its phase 3 data, and it has been a very, very long time. So this is it, phase 3 trials. And coming to the phase 3 results, about 70 people were infected with the coronavirus. So they were RT-PCR positive was seen in their results. So after the vaccination, 70 people were seen with infection. But still, the efficacy rate is much better. And the company claims that if 3 doses were given, when 3 doses were given, it saw 100% efficacy. Now you don't have to worry when it comes to this particular vaccine, the 3 injections, 3 doses. This vaccine is based on a new mechanism known as PharmaJet. So where the vaccine would be sprayed into the human body with some pressure, it would be sprayed. So it is going to be virtually painless. Now these are all the important facts that were associated with this vaccine that was in the news. Now our area of concern is 3 basic concepts over here, actually 2. And these are, the first one, that this vaccine is the world's first plasmid DNA vaccine. And the second one is that it is based on the plug and play platform of vaccine development. So this has been there in the news, when it comes to other vaccines like Pfizer's vaccine or the Moderna vaccines that are also based on plug and play, even Covishield. So we need to have a look at this also. And in this reference, we will also look at the basics of the mRNA type vaccination. So these are the 3 areas that we shall be covering in this particular session, and this is going to be helpful for both your prelims as well as mains. Now coming to plasmid DNA vaccine. But before that, let us see what is a plasmid. So plasmid is an extra chromosomal DNA. So it is separate, it is distinct from the normal DNA. This plasmid is taken and genetic modification is done to it. Genetic modification is done and then it is injected into the human body. So it is injected into the human body to trigger an immune response. So it tells the human body to generate spike proteins. So spike protein that is associated with the coronavirus. Fine. So spike protein, the human body itself creates in this case. When we studied other vaccines like Covishield or Corbevax also, for which I made a video. So in that case, the spike protein is injected. But in this particular scenario, the vaccine is telling the human body to create spike proteins. Now let us see why is this important. As you can see, this is the DNA, this is the virus, and this ball contains the virus actually. And this ball has certain protrusions. These protrusions are known as spikes. And we also call them as receptors. These are the receptors which bind to the human body or any organ, and when it binds, ultimately it releases the virus. The ball opens up, let's say, and causes the infection. So it is these spike protein that is of concern, and we are trying to create an immune response to these spike proteins over here. Clear? Now coming to the injection part. We are injecting it, and we are injecting it using a mechanism known as PharmaJet. It is a needle-free applicator which ensures painless intradermal vaccine delivery. So dermal means skin. It is associated with the skin, this word. Dermatologist also. So this is how this thing would work. This is the conventional way in which there is a needle and it goes inside the body. And sometimes there are complications. There is pain when it is injected, but there is also complications like soreness is there. Sometimes there is infection or inflammation around that region. But this one is supposed to be much better and painless, as well as there is even penetration and effective absorption. So this is a much better mechanism in this sense. Now next thing that I wanted to discuss was the plug and play platform of vaccine development. The plug and play platform has been very significant, and it is a major improvement in the way we are making vaccinations. Earlier, when we were making vaccinations, we were primarily injecting the virus, be it a weakened virus or a dead virus, into the human body. Like, let's say we are talking about the polio. So both types of vaccination was available, both with the weakened as well as the dead one. Weakened is preferred because it's believed to provide better immunity and it is more cost effective. But the concern was that sometimes there is also vaccine induced infections, and there have been cases where polio has been caused because of the vaccine itself. So this is this point over here. And the other thing is that the earlier way of vaccination, making vaccines, included a long gestation period. So long time period before the vaccine could be introduced into market. So the least has been 4 years, and that was in 1960 for the development of the vaccination for mumps. So that is the least. And the third thing is that there are so many diseases, especially in the tropical countries, tropical environment like ours. So there are so many diseases like malaria, pneumonia, so many diseases for which there is no vaccine. So it's believed that this technology, this methodology is going to help develop or address these concerns. Now the plug and play platform of vaccine development is based on the advancements in the field of genetic engineering or genetic modification. In the present day, like in the case of coronavirus also, we know which mutant of the virus is there, what are its traits. And we know this by the means of genomic sequencing. So for which again I made a video. So genomic sequencing. So we know the structure, we know how the DNA is there, and we are able to alter this or change it. We are able to change it. For example, let me talk about the mRNA based vaccine, the vaccine of the Pfizer and the Moderna. So these companies. So in this case, the mRNA is basically a code that is being, mRNA is basically the way the human body sends messages. So messenger RNA. So this mRNA is taken, or a code is taken, and it is encased in a lipid and then ultimately injected. So this tells the human body as to create antigens or an immune response against the virus. So the advantage is that we can very quickly make changes to the RNA or the DNA and introduce new vaccines, especially given the present context where we are seeing more and more mutants of the virus, and there is possibility that certain mutations are going to be better at evading the immune evasiveness, like it was seen in the case of the South Africa variant or the beta variant. So this is going to be very, very good, and even with Delta also the transmissibility was high. So we can make more and more vaccinations or more variations by simply changing the mRNA. So we have become very, very advanced in this science. So let us see what is the mRNA. This I've just taken the text over here, literature. So I've explained to you the concept anyways. In fact, even the Covishield vaccine is based on the same mechanism. Covishield vaccine, not the same as mRNA, it's based on viral vector, but still it is based on the plug and play platform of vaccine development. So this is all I had in this particular session, and we have covered very important things like the plasmid DNA vaccine. Maybe a short question could be asked on it, or the significance of the plug and play platform of vaccine development for your mains answer writing. So this is all I have. You can share your feedback on my comment section. You can please do like, share and subscribe, and also you can interact with me on my Telegram channel, that is t.me/IAS Primers. So thank you for streaming into IAS Primers, and this is me, Shubhashish Singh Rehal. Bye bye, take care, and all the best for your examination.